I've created a sort of bespoke or customized demonstration of both Jamboard and G Suite, because I think it's difficult sometimes to sort of think or contextualize how you might use the Jamboard. So I thought it might be useful to include it in the G Suite demonstration and then kind of bring it in. So my character is Sandra Jones. Sandra Jones is part of an editorial team, and as part of the editorial team, we want to brainstorm new ideas for topics for articles. Myself and Lisa are on the same board. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a couple of topics. So commuting is going to be one of the topics that I would like. And so if you can imagine here, we could have multiple teams in different locations, all sort of brainstorming on the same thing. So I'm going to do pink for this one, and this one's going to be about AI and work, and how AI is affecting work. So that's another topic. I'm going to put this guy over here. And then, does anyone want to shout any out? What could be a third topic that my article team could be, my editorial team could write about? I'm going to do this one in blue. Brexit, yeah, that actually was one of them. So we might as well mention the elephant in the room. Brexit, yeah. So we got Brexit down here. Anybody else? Third one? What was my commuting one? Commuting, traveling, self-driving cars. That was my other one, yeah. Okay, so I'll do green. I'm going to do self-driving cars. Cars or vehicles. Okay, so I've got 3 topics now. 4 topics, pardon me. And so what I want to do is, like Lisa was saying, I want to have an image for this. I want to do an image search. So I'm going to do an image search for commuting. You guys can still see that on the board, yeah? And that looks like a good image. These are all 4K images, and so and they're all of accommodation. These are some of the ones that came up in Dublin, so we can dump to the Dublin bit. And so now I'm kind of ready to move to a document. So I'm the journalist. I've done the brainstorming with the editorial team. Going to need my my device back there, Lisa. And so what I want to do now is I want to be able to save this information. Thanks. I want to be able to save this information into my Google Drive. So what I can do now is I can actually export this if I want. So I'm gonna do it on on this device here. So I can access this. Just do a quick reload. I can access Jamboard on the web as well. So I've got my Mac here. And so there's a limited amount to what I can do, obviously, because it's not a touchscreen device, so I don't have as many capabilities as I would on the Jamboard or on the Pixelbook. But what I can do is I can access it, and I can do a certain amount of editing. You can see that the tools here on the left-hand side, there's less of them. Okay, so I can't do quite as much. But what I can do is I can go and have a look at my little board that I've finished with, and say, okay, the editorial team and me have decided that we're going to do the commuting one. That's the one that we're interested in working on. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like to save this. So I've got a couple of different ways that I can do it. I can download it as a PDF or an image. I'd like to save it as an image because I'd like to throw it into a Google document. So I'm going to save it as an image. And that's gonna download it, and I'm gonna flick over now to my Google Drive. So for those of you that aren't aware, as I said, I'm in a little demo account here called Sandra Jones. This is how I access all of the other applications. I know some of you are already G Suite users, so you're already familiar with this. So this is where I access my Drive and my Gmail and my calendar. So I'm gonna open up Google Drive, and I use Team Drives. So you heard me mention Team Drives earlier on. I use Team Drives with my editorial team. I've got a team drive here called Editorial Team Demo. And so I know, because it's a team drive, I know what the members of this team are. I know who has access to the files in here. I know that no one outside of my team will accidentally have access to this information. So from a security point of view, I'm aware and I understand and I'm comfortable, that only the people in my team will have access to these documents. Does that make sense? So that's one of the benefits of Team Drives. You can see that the files in this are owned by damsoncloud.com. So they're not owned by me individually. They're owned by the organization or the company. And then I can have specific Team Drive settings. So I can say that because we're editors, now Sandra Jones, a character, which is actually interesting, she doesn't have the ability to edit these because she's not an administrator. So this is a perfect example of how only certain people within the team drive have the administrative control and can decide whether the files in this particular team drive can be shared externally, can be shared with non-members, or even can be downloaded, copied, or printed. So it gives you total control over your information. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to upload the image, and I've just thrown it into our team drive now so that our editorial team can see it, and it's this particular image. And I'm also going to create a new Google Doc for my article. And I'm going to upload the image into the article because that's where my brainstorming is going to begin. So I've got a new doc, and I'm going to call it Article Commuting 2018. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert an image from my computer, and it should be the article ideas one. And so now this means that I've got the brainstorm from the Jamboard, so I've connected the Jamboard and Google Google Docs, and I can start to brainstorm out my article. Okay, so my particular article is about commuting, and I'd actually like to get some information from our readers. And so we work for a newspaper, and I'd like to find out what our readers' commute is like. I'd like to publish maybe a link to a form or a survey maybe that they could fill out. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a Google form. So Google Forms are like an extension of Google Spreadsheets. It places the data in a Google spreadsheet. And if you've ever used SurveyMonkey or any of those sort of filled out any sort of online forms, it's very, very similar. So I'm going to create the form in the team drive again so that my team can access it. I'm going to call it Commuting in 2018. And I can have multiple types of questions. So I could have a short answer like name. I could have a multiple choice style question. So what is your mode of transport? I could have car, bus, train. And then you can also have, grid, checkbox, drop down, etc. So it's quite granular, the types of questions that you can have. And I can also change the look and feel. So I can have different colors, but I can also choose an image or a header, and I can create different themes. So if I wanted to have a particular look and feel to my form, maybe I wanted to match with my website because it's being embedded. And what the end user sees is they see this nice little form, which again, as I said, you can embed in the website. And when they fill the data out, I see it within my own within my form. Now again, I'm going to do a little bit of a baking trick and say, here's one I made earlier. Otherwise, we'd be here for quite a while, you guys watching me make the form. So I've got quite a lot of questions in here. And what I've done is I've put this on our website, and I've asked people to fill it out over the course of the week. And now we've actually gotten about 30 responses. And so I can look here and I can see the responses that have been filled in, and Google has actually collated the data for me. So without me even having to do anything, Google has collated all of the age ranges and the gender questions and the commuting to work, and I can see that very, very quickly that cars and trains seem to be the most popular. But it's also placed the data into a spreadsheet for me. This is where I'm going to get into the Explore feature and demonstrate this to you guys, where we can sort of ask questions of the data. And then I'm going to jump into a hangout with my editorial team. So I'm near the end of my article now. I've looked at, I've sent the survey out. I've gotten some feedback from our readers, and now I just want to get some interesting facts from the data that they've given us. So what I can do is down here in the bottom right-hand corner, I mentioned the Explore feature. Can everybody see that? You maybe you got something in the way. There's a little tiny Explore feature at the bottom. You're probably in the worst seat of the house, except for the Jamboard. You got a good view of the Jamboard. So when I click the Explore feature, it pulls out this little window on the right-hand side, and it already suggests a couple of things. It's got the age range. It's got the little diagram for the gender count. And obviously we saw those diagrams in the previous one, didn't we? So I could use these ones here, and you can actually copy them now. See the little copy? You can copy the chart, and I could go into my article. Again, I've got here's one I made earlier. And I could just simply paste in the chart. Okay? But with the Explorer feature, you can see that the charts are a little bit more comprehensive. And so I could, if I like these, I could put them out into their own ones, and I could copy these as well. I'm going to move it to its own, own sheet. And so that one's just a little bit more detailed. And again, I could save that. You can actually put in a link to the live chart. So then as people fill out the survey, if your document was live, it would actually fill out live, which is really, really cool. And particularly if if it's something that's maybe part of, like an event or something like that, and you want to get that live feedback. There was an interesting example how the Sheets and Explore and Forms was used by the New York Times, and they were able to get updates on the elections quicker than the official stats because they were using Google, and they were able to pull the data live from Google Sheets. So I'm going to go back to my little form here, and I'm going to go back into Explore, and I'm going to ask it some questions. So I could ask it simple questions like, how many people use cars? I'm going to have to put my glasses on because I can't see this. So it's saying there are 26 people that use cars. So that was an easy one, But remember, we had the chart, so that's not really that surprising, is it? I mean, that's nice, but like it's not super impressive. And we can see the formula here that it's using. And it's kind of interesting. But what I'd actually like to ask is what percentage allow flexible hours? So allow flexible hours was one of the questions. Well, if I just jump back to the survey, and then actually show you guys this, I asked what would make it easier for your, from an employer point of view, and one of them was allow flexible hours. So that's an interesting question, and we were talking about the millennials earlier. So if I ask a question of the data and say, well, what percentage of people that responded were allow flexible hours or answered flexible hours? So 65% of our respondents said that allowing flexible hours would improve their commute. Okay, so that's interesting. And if we look at the formula, this is what I would have to know in order to pull that data out. I don't know if there's any Excel nerds in the room. Are there? No? I struggle with doing the sum one. And making that work. So I definitely wouldn't be able to do that. And so you can see how the AI technology, the machine learning, is doing the hard work for me. I was just able to ask a simple natural language question, and it was able to pull the information out. Okay? And you should play around with it yourself. If you just do a Google search of the Google Explorer feature in Sheets, it actually gives you a template sheet that you can use. I think it's all the World Cup winning team since 1952 or something. And you can ask, I probably went too far back. When did the World Cup start? I don't know. But you can ask questions of the data and have a bit of fun with it. What was the winner in X date, or how many times has a particular country won? And so it's a great way of exploring a huge amount of data or a huge data set. Okay, this is only 29 or 30 respondents. Imagine you had 1,000 or 10,000 and you were able to ask this kind of question of that data. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, cool. So now I've written my article, I've done my survey. I can see that a bunch of my team who are part of my editorial team, like Catherine and Donal, and Donal's our editor, and Sylvie, they've left comments and stuff on here. So what I want to do is I want to set up a meeting with them. So I'm going to go into my Google Calendar, and I'm going to set up an appointment with them, okay? So I'm going to set up a meeting and say, meeting re-commuting article. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a video conference to this particular meeting, okay? So this means that again, breaking down the barriers and the silos, with the click of a button, I can actually add meeting room conference details to this particular meeting. I'm going to add instead of adding Donal, I'm just going to add the editorial team. And what that has done is we've got a Google group set up, and that has everybody in it who's a part of our editorial team. So without me having to manually type in everybody's email address, it means that I can just really quickly just type in one address, and it's just invited everybody to it. I could also add a location. I could as well add some of the documents within here. And again, they're just Google Drive docs, so it would just attach them. So if I want to add the survey and the article, I could select those and add those in there. And again, making it easy for my team to access those. I could even add the live Jamboard. So Jamboard is actually the actual Jamboard. So I don't mean the image or the PDF. The actual Jamboard. See, it's got the little Jamboard icon. I'm ruining your video now, sorry. The little Jamboard icon is on there, and I can actually add that in, and people could go to the live jam that we did earlier on with the multiple screens and things like that. So I'll add that in there as well. I'm going to send the calendar invites out to everybody. Yeah, it's just warning me that's as external guests. It's also warning me that some people in the group aren't on the documents that I'm sharing. So again, Google's trying to help me. I don't know if anyone's ever had that. You know, again, the breaking down the collaboration of the silos. You get sent a link, you're like, guys, I can't access this, you know, because I don't have permission or something. And that's really frustrating. You've been sent something and you can see the title of it, but you can't actually access the document. So Google's pre-warning me, and I can actually add everybody in my team as at least a viewer on this particular document, or it's probably the jam, actually. And so that calendar appointment has gone out. And now what I can do is I can jump into that Hangout. We're going to jump forward in time a little bit. I'm just going to close the other Hangout that I was in. I'm going to jump into this into this video call. It allows me to see myself beforehand, so I can check my hair and make sure that I look good before my meeting. I can mute or turn off my camera as well. So I'm going to join in here. I don't know if the sound's going to come through here. It's probably not, is it? If it doesn't, that's okay. And what I can do is, in order to maybe communicate my team quickly, I can jump on here and say, hey, team, we need to jump on, jump on a call to discuss the article. And I can put the link to the Hangout directly in. And if I wanted, I could also put links to the article as well, just to get everybody on the same page. So I could jump in here and I could throw the link in. So it's down here, sorry guys, that I'm doing. I'll pop it out just for people to see. So this is the team chat, but there's loads of people in it. So there's actually there's actually 7 people in the chat. And I can see Colin has read this and Donal has read it, because their little faces are down at the bottom. I can see Colin is typing there from the back of the room, probably on his mobile device. So I'm going to close that down. I'm going to come back here. Sylvie's asked to join. I didn't know Sylvie was going to join. Donal's asked to join as well. Hi, Sylvie. We can't hear you, but that's okay. And you're joining our demo. I really appreciate you joining. I didn't know that you were free. And we've also got Donal on here. So just because I'm hooked up to the sound system here, the sound isn't coming out. I actually have no sound controls. What I'll do is I'll just do a spin around. Everybody can just give them a wave. Come on, friendly waves, friendly waves. There we go. Okay. We're a friendly, collaborative bunch here. Okay, so we're on I can see Donal can hear us anyway, I'm assuming. Yeah, you can, yeah. Okay, cool, and so can Sylvie. So I could present my screen as well to the guys here, so I could do present window, and then what that would mean is if I click on the article, then the guys are seeing that live, so that makes it easy if maybe there's someone isn't shared on document, or you just want to demonstrate something, which is really valuable. So now we can jump into the article. We would, under normal circumstances, be all able to hear each other. They can hear us. And we can work on the document together. And I can already see that Donal and Sylvie are in this document. And Colin, I don't know if you want to jump into the doc, maybe in your mobile device, that would be cool. And put the link into the little Hangout chat. And so what we can do is now we can see the live collaboration. So I can see that Donal is here, and he's typing stuff in real time. And so he's been assigned a color. Donal's been assigned pink, and Sylvie's been assigned orange. Sylvie, maybe if you want to edit the document as well, I put the link into the Hangout chat. So if you want to comment or maybe do a little bit of live editing. And we've also got Colin on here now. Colin's joined, and he's gotten blue. And he's gone down the end, and he's going to He's going to start typing, and he's doing it on his mobile device. So you've got the same capabilities on mobile as you do on as you do on desktop. And I actually had an amazing experience when I was flying over here, and just thinking about that access to information, how easy it is to find it and share it. And the film crew for Dublin had done the videos, and the logo they'd used was our old logo. We'd just gotten our logo redone. Obviously, I wanted the new logo used, and I was delighted with the videos, but I was chatting with Dylan, the videographer, and I said, that's the wrong logo. And he was like, I don't have the new one. And I said, my plane is about to take off. I was literally sitting in the seat, and they were doing that turn your phone off thing, and that they do, and I ignore and get in trouble for. And I was like, dude, I'm literally about to take off. And he was like, I need to get this done, like, right now. And I was like, hang on a second. And he was like, go, go, go. And I got into my phone, I opened Google Drive, did a search, found the actual file, shared it with him, and then he needed like the, couple of high-res different versions of it. And I was like, I shared it there, I've got it. He was like, yeah, I've got it. So within a couple of seconds, I was able to access my information on my phone and share it with them straight away, and send them a link via email. So it's just really powerful when you've got access to that information anywhere. And it was a great example of that. Okay, so we can see some of the comments that Donald has made, and we can respond to these and say, hey, that's great. Or maybe, as I said, we're on a video call, and so maybe we wouldn't do the comment thing. The comment thing you tend to use with that asynchronous collaboration we're talking about, with this sort of time delay. But again, it's a little bit different from sending a document back and forth. It's at least in the document, and I can see what people are talking about, and I can jump into the document from my email. You'll get notified if someone comments on a document and you're not in it. And when you're finished with the section, you can just resolve it. So I can resolve that particular comment. So I think that's pretty much it. I just want to double check my what did I do with it? I just want to double check my list to make sure I had everything. Yeah, I think that's it. I think I'm done. I'm going to let Donald and Sylvie go because they very kindly had joined. Donald, Sylvie, thank you very much for joining. Appreciate your time. Thanks, guys. Sorry we can't hear you. Okay, so hopefully that's given you guys an idea. And just finishing off my little demo, I'm finished now, and I can kind of resolve all my things and go to print, and everybody's happy.